What's up? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Captain Cody Davis here with you guys again for another one. Just got off of Lake Okeechobee here myself. Ran a little 4-hour morning trip this morning with a mother and son. Ended up catching quite a few fish, just never really got into any size, but got home and got ready to hop on the lawnmower or grab the weed whacker and take care of some yard work, but decided to come in and soak up a little bit of AC before I do so. And while I'm doing so, I thought I'd do this quick video for you guys. I thought I'd hop on here and just give you guys kind of my thoughts on how the Toyota series went out here on Lake Okeechobee. Most of you guys know I did not partake in the event this year. I decided to make the guaranteed money and just run trips all 3 days. And either way, I did do kind of a prediction video. I did a video after day one. I never got to do a video after day two. I figured I'd just let the tournament finish out before I hopped on here and give my opinion on how it went. So that's what this is. And really, the event went much better than I thought it would in terms of how the lake performed, which we'll get into here in just a minute. As far as the winning weight, I should have, if I was a good videographer and had a really successful YouTube channel, I would have looked up all the stats before I started, but I didn't do that. I think it was like 73 and a half pounds it took to win. My prediction was 66. So I was off by a lot by the winning weight, but second place was, I believe, 65 and a half pounds. So I almost got it. But I didn't. But as far as how the weights came in, how everything transpired, it's pretty much how I thought it was going to go, aside from where a lot of these fish were caught. Something that was very encouraging to see, something that was really, really cool to see, really, was these anglers spread all throughout Lake Okeechobee. There was 180 boats, I believe, or 185 boats in this deal, and people caught them really everywhere you can think of. Now, obviously, there were some congested areas, very packed in, smaller areas where guys were really trying to concentrate. But for the most part, if you were to look at the grand, the big picture, there were people spread all over the lake in every nook and cranny you can think of. It's actually where the tournament was won, was just an off the beaten path place, doing something super simple and something very overlooked. I'm not going to blow up where he was because I want to catch fish there, even though I think most people know where it was. But just doing it wasn't necessarily where he was. I think it was more what he was doing, and it was kind of a pattern that seemed like it developed a week or two prior to the event, where guys were catching big bags doing such thing. And it's really funny, like part of me was like, I wish it wasn't really won that way. But then Kelly reminded me and him almost had one of our biggest wins doing almost the exact same thing in a slightly different way. So I'll say that. But either way, it was really cool. There was a lot of big bags caught, a lot of really big fish brought in. And like I kind of predicted, that weather change was going to hurt a lot of people. That wind started blowing on the final day, and people that were catching them, the past 2 days, they stumbled. They had really tough days because their areas got blown out due to the east wind. And some guys made adjustments, and some people just swung for it. But either way, it was a great event. Very, like I said, encouraging to see people fishing all over, encouraging to see fish popping up everywhere, and just seeing the number of fish that were caught. One thing that my partner Kelly always says, it's like us regulars get so fixated on where they should be, where they've been in years past. And then when we go there that time of year, we don't get bit. We just assume the lake sucks and the lake's in a downward spiral. Whereas when you take someone who's in a tournament mindset from out of state, out of town even, and they show up here, they don't have much knowledge, if any at all, on Lake Okeechobee. They're excited to be here. They know it has big ones. They get to fish grass. They've heard it. They've read about it and watched TV on it their whole lives. And they get here and they're just pumped to be here. It's amazing what a lot of these guys find and what us as locals overlook. And I feel like a lot of guys, and I'm guilty of it too, just talk about, man, this lake fishing tough. It ain't what it used to be. And it's not. It's just different, really. And we didn't lose the fish. And you just got to be more open-minded. And, sometimes we don't get to catch them the way that we really want to catch them, right? Okeechobee, you're thinking a big flipping rod, a frog, a swim jig, you know, pulling on them. And sometimes it's not really one that way, you know, or that's not the best deal going at the time. So super cool. Like seeing all those big healthy fish. Also, you know, something that I can kind of tell you guys today, something that's been going on here over the last couple of weeks. The lake's dropping, right? So all of the water in the marsh, right, all the way in the back on the west side of the lake is obviously dropping. And something that's happened, it happened 2 years ago in the Toyota. I'm not sure about last year, but last 2 years ago, I fished the event and I know it was happening. There's a lot of minnow fish, I call them. What it is it seems like a lot of fry, whether it's tilapia, bass fry, cichlids, bluegill, shad, all this little. When I say fry, I mean these baits are this big, and they're flushing out of these marsh areas, getting pushed to the outside hard line. And there are, I'm not exaggerating, thousands upon thousands of bass feeding on these things, all the way from West Wall to Tin House Cove on the west side of the lake. If you go through the far back hard line, you will see thousands of bass feeding on these, and they're ranging from this big to 3 pounds. But I mean, it was pretty crazy. Like I said, I had a mother and son. Never really had any experience on Lake Okeechobee, and you know, the fishing was tough. It was blowing up to 30 out of the southwest today, so we fished out of Clewiston, just kind of hopscotched up the shoal. And you know, we tried catching some bigger fish, some spawners and some reeds, and maybe some schooling post spawn fish and some boat lanes. It just didn't really pan out. But we got up on that back line and we're just playing with some, you know, they weren't tiny fish. They were decent fish, thinking maybe we'd get a big bite. But the amount of fish it's crazy. And it's really promising to see. It's like, you know, these tournaments come here during the spawn. We're catching these big females off of the bed, even though we're not looking at them like they do the rest of the country. But we're stressing a lot of these big fish out. There's no doubt, you know, catching them this time of year. And we always wonder, like, how good of a spawn did we really get? Listen, the amount of bass I saw out of the water today, just by jumping out of the water, gorging on these minnows, I couldn't catch them all in the rest of my life. I mean, it's crazy, crazy. It'd take a lifetime to catch them all. So that was really promising to see. Trying to think, if there was really anything else. I guess not. The lake's fishing. Listen, we got kind of a little reset button now, right? We almost got, what we got was a taste of spring the last 2 weeks, right? It was really cold. And then all of a sudden the wind just all around just kind of died for the course of 2 weeks, right? The water's dropping. It got really unseasonably hot. It was up into the mid 80s almost every day. The water temperature spiked up. The water's dropping. And the wind laid down, which cleaned up a lot of areas, which in turn made the lake fish as if we were in April, right, in February. And we got a little taste of it. The fishing was phenomenal. We had big waves of fish moving into spawn on the full moon. People were catching them from the front to the back, the outside, doing all this different stuff. And it looks like we're going to get a little bit of a front actually tomorrow. I think tomorrow when we wake up, it's going to be like a 10-degree difference down here. So not that it's going to go to hell, right? But things are going to change, right? The wind's starting to blow. It looks like the wind's going to blow almost all week this week. So you're going to have to fish some sheltered areas. Some areas are going to clean up. Some areas are going to get dirty. So we're going to have to make adjustments. And again, it's going to be a slightly different lake. But either way, it was really cool. Looked like people caught them on all different types of baits too. A lot of people were flipping a jig, flipping a Senko. A lot of chatterbait fish caught. A lot of speedworm fish caught. I know, like the first or second day, both first, second day, there was a lot of frogfish caught. So, you know, several 30-pound bags. There was two 32-pound bags the first day. And like I said, I think a lot of these fish were kind of going away through the event, which is kind of what happened. You know, I thought the weights were going to get smaller each day due to the fish just kind of backing out of these spawning areas and things like that. So, either way, that's it. The next thing is going to be the Elite Series. I am super pumped about that. I really hope it has a good showing. We're getting a front and wind this week and then the elites show up next week. Maybe it's in 2 weeks from now. Where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? No. So we're going to have this whole week, and then the elites show up Sunday for practice. I don't know what the weather's going to be, but they're going to catch them. A lot of these guys are going to catch them, and you're going to see a lot of the stuff probably exposed that some of the little sneaky stuff that was going on out here for the Toyota. These guys are probably going to find. Some people probably do well, and it'll be covered on live. So we'll see. I don't have a prediction. I have no idea. This lake changes every day, every day. And so once we get closer to time, I'll kind of do a prediction and kind of a walk you guys through what I think is going to happen with the Elite Series. But either way, I appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you're interested in booking a day, I am for the most part booked up for the rest of February, the entire month of March. April, I think I've got like April 27th and 28th available. And then May, I've got just a hodgepodge of open dates. And May is my favorite month. I keep plugging that. May is amazing. Part of me is kind of hoping you guys don't book, because then I get a lot of time to go fishing myself and do some filming, because y'all didn't really leave me much time to have fun in April and March. But if you guys want to try, get out here, practice your flipping and throwing a frog. If this lake keeps dropping the way it's dropping, it's gonna be crazy. It's dropped like a quarter foot this week, something crazy like that. I should also throw that out there. It's not sketchy yet, but it's getting there. A lot of lower units were damaged. There was boat damages done in this Toyota series. Be careful. I'd probably, if you're unfamiliar with the lake, start laying down on the outside edge and idling in. Same goes for leaving. Troll to the outside before you jump up on plane. I'll leave you guys with that. Appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. I'm going to go mow my lawn.